The Muse Academy by Heidi Hansen. Act 1. What the Cat Saw. I am the cat, and this is what happened. The attic keeper and I were holed up in the attic loft, trying to block out the crashing and banging and whooshing sounds of the vacuous storm raging outside. The sun window was almost blown in. I, however, was in repose, perfection, in my perch, all preened, in a state of deep meditation. The attic keeper was locked in a writer's block, however, and was engrossed in staring at a blank canvas, some blank watercolor paper, her pens and paintbrushes down by her elbows on the table, with her hands holding up her chins. The shrieking of the vacuous outside the attic window sounded cold, ice cold, shrill shards of ice that could cut through a person. And that's what the vacuous do. They get inside you and vacuum out all of your imagination, your ideas, your creativity, your inner beauty, your identity, yourself, your personhood, because they have none of their own. But attic keeper and I were used to these tantrums from those vile, black, insidious, floating forms outside. Inside our attic abode was toasty warm, with a potbelly stove, piles of blankets, cozy pillows, loads of books and art supplies, lots of delicacies and savories in cupboards and bags, and of course, high stacks of tuna fish cans for me. Like I said, perfection in perching and repose. Until I saw them. With my narrow green eyes and a twinge on my whiskers, I saw them peering out of a baseboard heater vent, which hadn't worked in years, by the way. There were 5 trembly, totally tiny, fuzzy, little colorful muses, shaking in their boots, with eyes as big as saucers. They were colorful: flower lavender, periwinkle blue, banana yellow, lime green. Their names? Bookie, Artie, Dance, Ponderous, and Sheffy. Have you ever wondered what a muse is? A muse is the one who helps an artist. Painters and writers, musicians, dancers and chefs and inventors, all kinds of artists and artistry get their ideas from somewhere. Those are muses. Muses inspire artists to create wonderful things. Muses are the minions of your mind, and they go to school at the Muse Academy to learn how to be a muse. They take classes and they live there, classes in all art forms, for a good long time, and then on their graduation day, they are adopted out by artists who come from all over the world, who come to the Academy and take them home to their artists' studios. Somewhere in the night time, an artist waits for me. Somehow on her paintbrush, others will see me. I'll be there on the face of her canvas, waiting patiently. Somewhere on a blank page, a story must get wrote, and a trumpet's mouthpiece will let a new song float. My love is on the face of her canvas, waiting patiently. Somehow through these night hours, I'll have visibility. Act 2. What the Attic Keeper Did. The Muses were not supposed to be here, and the Attic Keeper scolded them on that point. The academy had been closed due to a bank foreclosure, and all of the students and staff had been sent home, and the building was empty. The halls, the dorms, and the kitchen were all empty, and the doors had been boarded shut by order of the bank. A lonely, empty place, with the vacuous outside trying to get in, take advantage of the situation, and inhabit the building for their own dark purposes. And this was no place for a Muse. And the attic keeper told them so. She was a recluse. She had lived in secret up in the attic for years, for a good long time, and nobody knew she had been there, and she had loved that fact. So she was quite annoyed that she had been discovered. She rescued me, the cat, my name is Storm, by the way, years back from a drenching rain and winter storm outdoors of the campus. And we've been together up in the attic ever since then. She spends her days painting and writing, cooking delicious foods from all around the world and creative recipes. I still don't know exactly how these rare tidbits of exotic ingredients arrive in the attic, or the fresh fruits from all around the world, but they do. And also, of course, the stacks and stacks of tuna fish cans for me. But I don't ask questions if I don't want things to change. So when the attic keeper realized that these muses had known about her living up in the attic all along, she was quite annoyed, and she told them to go home right away. The muses said no. They had stayed behind deliberately to save their school, get it reopened, and get all the muses back to class. And they needed her help. The muses exclaimed, "That's all the reason they had to stay back and save their school." Attic Keeper knew that it took quite a lot of courage to be an artist. And now she softened when she saw the courage of these 5 tiny muses facing a gigantically daunting task. Hello there, it's you again, beating on my window pane, challenging my attic doors. Your thieving powers feign. I'm on to you now. What I have you cannot do. You can't take what I won't give. Without my fear, you cannot live. Courage comes in many colors. A place of peace takes many forms. Somewhere between risk and destiny, that's where courage comes. For those who live on a blank page, actors facing a brand new stage, for the notes in search of a bigger score, and the dance that wants just one more. Every brushstroke says your name, every sculpture reforms old shame. The tender words that fill your poems, that's where courage comes. Finding tools right around you, joy can be harder than misery. Supplies can surprise, old ideas can be resized when courage comes. Courage comes in many colors. A place of peace has many forms. Thieves and fears can't have your voice when courage comes. Act 3. What the Muses Found. The vacuous must have sensed something good was happening inside the attic, because they were really whipping up their force. and the whole attic not only shook from their whipping and beating against the windows and walls, but the academy building itself swayed from side to side, from the ground up. Bookie Muse asked what the Vacas were trying to get. What did they want? Attic Keeper explained that the void that they experienced was the void of any kind of true imagination, the void of creative personality, and this enraged them that they were vacant in that way. They wanted what the Muses had, and they wanted what the Muses were getting at the academy. Artie asked, why don't they just get some education and learn some skills of their own? And the answer was that the vile, vicious Vacas were lazy, selfish, and mean, and were content just to steal others' imaginations or destroy their place of comfort and joy, and the joy of a good idea, something the Vacas will never know, the joy of having a good idea. Their world would never have that, and even if they succeeded in taking over and inhabiting the school and all the ideas that were bursting out from it, they wouldn't know what to do with them or care to even try. They just wanted to destroy it all for the sake of destruction. Dance shivered. Creeps, he said. I can feel their coldness. It's a weird, pinching, stale kind of cold. Attic Keeper changed the subject. The joy of a good idea, she proclaimed, as she took off the sizzling basil and blueberry sausages that were cooking in a saucepan on the potbelly stove. These had come from Thailand, and she passed bulging plates around. The Muses gobbled them hungrily, slightly burning their tongues in haste. They washed it all down with cold, freshly squeezed kiwi and starfruit juice from Australia, and thick wedges of crispy, flaky, fresh buttery toast made from the wheat and goat milk that came from the goats that live on the Mongolian steppes. And as they cuddled down on the piles of Scottish wool blankets and soft cushions woven from Finland, the Attic Keeper walked over to a very large 13th century gold thread woven tapestry that acted as a curtain. It had come from Japan and was hanging in a place that, when she lifted it up, revealed a gigantic, sprawling set of cupboards and shelves that were stuffed to overflowing with art supplies of every kind you can imagine. Dance supplies too, music supplies, tools, papers, paints, exotic cooking ingredients, and old chef utensils from different time periods in history. Everything any kind of artist would want or need was there. But then she opened up one very special cupboard and revealed a stack of sketchbooks and special pens called Imagi stylus pens. She gave a sketchbook and stylus pen to each Muse and took one over to her own work table, opened it, and then applied the Imagi stylus to the paper. And then a plume, a thickly colorful fog of joyful swirling colors, purples, sparkling yellows, dancing greens, and spinning blues, poured forth from the pages of that sketchbook like a thick fog that would only bring happiness. This, said the Attic Keeper, is what the Vacas want. The joyous fog of creativity. I see the lines upon your face. Each has been hard won. But you're beautiful when you talk with your art. So, hun, let the joyous fog go free. Let the joyous fog go free. Send it out for all to see. all the colors for you and me. Open up your sketchbook and see the bigger picture. Watch what happens when you put it on the page. Let the joyous fog go free. Let the joyous fog go free. Imagination for all to see. Changing the world for you and me. Let the joyous fog go free. Yes, let the joyous fog fly free. A loud and jarring, jagged boom shocked everyone awake. Upright, an attic keeper looked at me, and my whiskers felt the zing of what terrible thing had happened, and I nodded my head at her. "What is going on?" asked Sheffy, shivering up and down. "The Vacas have broken in, downstairs, down in the basement." "The basement?" asked Ponderous. "I thought they wanted to break in here, up here in the attic. What do they want with the basement? No one wants anything to do with the basement." Another gigantic thud of boom. Big shake. "They want the ideas that are down there. Down in the basement is where all of the old archived ideas are stored. I haven't been down there in years. Nobody has. Nobody wants to," said the attic keeper. The Muses looked at each other and grinned. "Let's go," shouted Artie. "Let's go down to the basement." And they made a charge for it. Down to the basement, here we go. What we'll find we do not know. Down to the basement, here we go. Down to the basement, here we go. Is it treasure or is it foe? Down to the basement, here we go. Down to the basement, here we go. Down to the basement, here we go. Oh! Wee! Ooh. Ooh. Act 5. What the new Muse did. The vile, vicious Vacus were down in the basement waiting for them and me, the Muses, going to battle. "What's our battle plan?" Bookie whispered to Dance. The group of 5 colorful minions of the mind stared at each other with large, round, wondering eyes and shrugging shoulders. "Do we need a battle plan?" asked Dance. "We're creators, not fighters," said Ponderous. The Vacus cackled at them in mockery. One Vacus, who was a thin, tight wisp that resembled an eel of prey, sneered. "Creators? You created yourself right out of a school." Another Vacus, who lived under a rock, which he carried around with him everywhere, smiled a forced grin, and a tick of hatred twitched on the upper lip. "We are your creators now," he said. A blobby, loosely swaying globule of Vacus shook her head in mock sorrow. "And they used to be such nice Muses, too." The fourth Vacus, a brick-like chunk, snorted without moving his lips. "They'll do it our way from now on. They have no choice." All 4 dark forms closed in around the trembling Muses, getting closer and closer. You give us what you have now." Just then, a pulsating glow of green and blinding light flooded the room, and in a blink, the Vacas were gone, vanished, just disappeared, like a movie just being clicked off or a lamp clicked off. They were absent. Only pulsating green light was left. "What just happened?" shouted Bookie. Then a new, unfamiliar Muse voice piped up out of a corner, sort of over where the green light was coming from. "Wow, wow, wowza!" she exclaimed, jumping up and down. "It works! It really, really works!" As the green glow faded, there was Techie Muse, standing behind a garden of fresh new sprigs of growing idea scrolls, and surrounded by baskets of older archived idea scrolls stacked in neat arrays. "What worked?" shouted Ponderous. "What just happened?" "Are they really gone?" asked a very shaky Artie. The new Muse, Techie, spoke up and showed her face by sliding off a pair of headgear, eye goggles, or something like that, that was tethered to a large smartphone she held in her hand. "This," she explained in glee, and pranced around in a happy dance, "is my invention. It's my VBR." "A VBR?" asked Bookie. "What is that?" "I made it myself. A virtual reality blurred system. Never tested it before now, but just now it worked, and so I know it's going to work in the future. Beta testing done. Got to get that patent. Got to get rid of these Vacas, or rather, just portal them to a new reality. They're not gone, they're just... I created a new reality with my virtual reality machine and blurred the lines of reality enough that they just kind of slid over into the new one. They're just sliding around there. They're not totally gone. But this is my new machine, my new invention, and it works. My VBR, virtual reality blurred, blurring the lines of reality. I love it," she said. "Well," she looked around. "Nice to meet you." She calmed down quite a bit and walked around a little bit more, shouting, "Whoa, it worked," to herself. And she gazed at her machine, and we all knew it. She was in a state of true love. Walking along a little idea today, taking it home and letting it play, showing respect for all that we do and say. That's how our ideas can save the day. Because we can, yes we can be little and true. We can save the day for me and you. Walking along our little ideas today, doing big things and paving the way, finding the place where we're in the know, so the minions of your mind can grow. Once upon a little time, long ago, when you were mine, all I had to do was play along with you. But here we are again, my friend, with perils that might never end. So just let me say one more time today, don't let anyone, don't let anyone, don't let anyone take yourself away. Act 6. What a good talent show can do. Oh, it was a fine, crisp, flowery spring morning that the Muses, with the help of the attic keeper and my own talent of keeping crisis out of the attic, put on a great talent festival in the grand hall at the Muse Academy. Everyone, all the Muse alumni and displaced students, faculty and community had come to see the show. The board of directors from the bank had come as well to see what the Muses could do. They showed up there in their fine attire, their theater gear, and they got their VIP seating passes from Dance, who was dressed also in formal theater attire, taking tickets and showing guests where to sit. No one seemed to notice, though, that one of the board of directors, the executive loan officer, carried a large bag with him, and it had a rock inside of it. And another board of director, under much too heavy makeup, remarked, "Oh, this is just embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for them, really." A globulous risk management assessor agreed. They used to be such creative Muses, too. This is just really, well, I'm embarrassed, too, for them. The other bank board of director from the legal department, who had a face like a bulldog, said, "Well, do here what we can to take what is ours. This is all rightfully ours. Whatever they've come up with, whatever they do come up with in the future, we own it. We own it all. It's ours, in perpetuity." But the balloons, the fancy dresses, special lighting, there was a great hum of excitement and anticipation that had filled up the great hall like an elixir. And the Muses delivered. They put on the best talent show that could ever have been done by anyone. They pulled it off. It was a show that was more of a feast than a creation or of entertainment form. It was put on to raise money to repair their school, but also to show the board of directors at the bank how special the Muse Academy really is, and to convince them to continue investing in financing its full operation and to reopen it right away. And it worked. The next week, a bright new banner was hung over the academy doors. It read, "Welcome back, students. Grand reopening of the Muse Academy. Have a great new semester." Muses flowed in with their suitcases and stacks of books and gear and equipment. The dorm rooms were filled with happy Muses, making new friends with each other. Some Muses were practicing dance routines on the stage in the grand hall. Some were checking out the library. Some were cooking sauces in the hallways. Some were cross-pollinating new plants in the steaming bathrooms. Some were sketching it all for a documentary in art. Muses came from all over the world, and to attend here this new grand opening semester, and Teki was running around introducing everyone to her cousin who had come from Hawaii. His name was Keola Kai, and he was busy asking where was a good place he could store his surfboard. "Did you bring Keola Kai in from your virtual blurred reality machine?" Sheffy asked her. A little crush has seemed to have developed between those two. "Oh no," Keola Kai surfed his way over the Pacific Ocean. She smiled and passed out more copies of her patent approval of her VBR. looking out on these bright blue waters, not knowing just what's in front of me, taking a leap of faith to see the bigger picture. That's what little things can do. Believe in little things, they're always around. When the waves turn you upside down, sirens call from a distant shore, beguiling me to search for more across the sea of imagination towards a curious destination. And that's how little things grow. Believe in little things, they're always around. When the world turns you upside down, tiny drops make up greater oceans. A fine thin line holds the horizon still. It's not how far you go, it's just that you say hello to what those little things can do. Act 7. What's an ending when you can have a new beginning? Upstairs in the attic, attic keeper was busy in her sketchbook and at her easel. On her laptop computer, too, writing and writing and writing. Loads of new art supplies were stacked all around the room and all over her work table, promising a semester for the attic keeper of high artistic productivity. She scolded the band of now 6 muses who stumbled in the attic, dizzy with happiness. "What are you doing here?" she exclaimed. "First day of classes starts in 5 minutes. You'll be late, and I do not sign or write excuse notes, ever. Now off with you. Get to class." But the 6 muses did not budge. They sat themselves down on plump cushions and folded quilts. "But we are in class," said Bookie. "This is our classroom now." Artie spoke up. "We want you to be our teacher." They all opened their sketchbooks and got out their styluses, ready in hand. "So what's our first lesson?" asked Dance. Attic keeper groaned and put her head down on her work table and rolled it back and forth and moaned, "No, no, no, I'm not a teacher, and this isn't a classroom. I should never have been found. My life would still be so easy if I'd never been found out. No, I can't be your teacher," she said. "I'm much too busy growing the gardens of new ideas in the new basement greenhouse." And then I, the cat, in my most gracious of sauntering ways, walked over and purred in her ear and waved my fuzzy peacock tail over her face, back and forth, putting her in a trance. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And then I gave her my green eye double blink. So attic keeper got up, poured them all icy smoothies she had whipped up from Oregon blackberries, bananas from the Philippines, and lemon gelato from Rome. "Okay, muses, welcome to class. Put stylus to paper. The first thing about being a muse is to get your artist to observe. Always doodle. That's what your sketchbooks are for. Do the daily doodle. The second thing is to help your artist always be themselves. Love who they are, respect who they are, protect that beautiful artistry of being a person." Walking along, a little idea today taking it home and letting it play, showing respect for all that we do and say. That's how our Dios can save the day. Because we can, yes we can be little and true. We can save the day for me and you. Walking along our little ideas today, doing big things and paving the way, finding the place where we're in the know, so the minions of your mind can grow. Once upon a little time, long ago, when you were mine, all I had to do was play along with you. But here we are again, my friend, with perils that might never end. So just let me say one more time today, don't let anyone, don't let anyone, don't let anyone take yourself away. And so the classes of the new grand reopening semester of the Muse Academy began. But may I say this, I am the cat, after all. What about those bank board of directors? Those odd remarks coming from the VIP seats. Nobody seemed to notice them, but I did, and my whiskers twitched. How odd they were in their mannerisms while they dressed so professionally. Now that's something I'll have to keep my green eyes on. For now, I give you all a double wink. You know, you can get through anything as long as you have a good idea. Me, I'm going back to my perch for now. Once upon a little time, long ago, when you were mine, all I had to do was play along with you. But here we are together now, and I just don't know how much farther I can go. The night is hanging low, but there is a spark, a shining star, upon this road that never ends, and here we are, long lost friends, and so just let me say one more time today, don't let anyone, don't let anyone, don't let anyone take yourself away. We're in the night time, an artist waits for me. Da 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 dee.